Hello and welcome to our brand new show, Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison LaGrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. The US and Russian officials hold talks in Istanbul to restore ties. This follows a high-level summit in Riyadh last week. It also sets the stage for Donald Trump's meeting with Vladimir Putin. US President Donald Trump urges tech giant Apple to end its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. This comes a day after the company's shareholders voted to keep them. Two attacks by armed bandits kill 16 people in southwestern Niger. The state media says that the attackers gathered the villagers and opened fire at them in Diondio. And Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is in Somalia to meet its president Hassan Sheikh Mohammed. The talks aim at building on a fragile reconciliation and fight against terrorism in the region. And the birth rate in Japan falls to a new historic low, with nearly 721,000 babies born in 2024. The data marks the 9th consecutive year of decline in births. Hello and welcome. Now, the war in Gaza has created a humanitarian catastrophe that the world continues to witness in horror. But as the region grapples with devastation, a deeply unsettling digital vision has emerged. A glossy, AI-generated fantasy that replaces suffering with spectacle. US President Donald Trump recently shared an AI-generated video on his social media platform Truth Social, portraying Gaza as a luxurious high-end resort, an opulent Riviera of the Middle East. The video, a surreal blend of satire and propaganda, reimagines the war-torn strip as a place of extravagant wealth. It features US President Trump himself. He is seen sipping cocktails alongside a topless Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, while billionaire Elon Musk dances as dollar bills rain down. Children frolic on the pristine beaches, while bearded belly dancers gyrate in celebration of what is portrayed as Gaza's golden future. The response to the video was immediate and visceral, even within President Trump's own base. Many found the imagery deeply offensive. His Christian supporters, in particular, condemned it as idolatrous and pointing to scenes of golden statues and nightclub revelry. Someone stated that the clip reminds them of the Antichrist, while one posted that the video made them feel sick. Even people who support President Trump were not pleased with the video. Users stated that the video is just wrong. One Trump supporter called it distasteful. Looks like the video broke quite a few supporters' hearts. Criticism extended beyond his followers. Human rights organizations, politicians, and Middle Eastern leaders denounced the video as a grotesque misinterpretation of Gaza's suffering. In a statement, Faye Nemmer, the CEO of MENA American Chamber of Commerce, called the video offensive and counterproductive to peace talks. Nemmer urged President Trump to remove the post and to issue an apology. Representative Juan Vargas of California, in now deleted tweet, labeled it despicable, and he said that it undermined the efforts toward real peace in the region. President Trump's video was not just an internet spectacle, but it aligned with his broader plan for Gaza, one that has sparked global outrage. His proposal calls for the displacement of Gaza's 2.1 million residents to make way for a US-controlled economic zone, a move that critics have likened to ethnic cleansing. Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu has cautiously supported the plan, though he insists that any returning Gazans must disavow terrorism. Meanwhile, Arab nations, including Egypt, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia, have rejected the proposal outright. For the people of Gaza, such visions feel like cruel mockery. Hamas also rebuked the idea. In a statement, Hamas spokesperson said that the people of Gaza are looking forward to the day when they see Gaza rebuilt, economically revived, and building a better future for its children. But this cannot succeed inside the big prison. We are not struggling to improve prison conditions, but to get rid of the prison and the jailer. Now, beyond the AI-generated imagery and the political maneuvering, the true Gaza remains a land of grief. The suffering of the people cannot be erased by digital illusions, nor can peace be built on a foundation of displacement and exclusion. In the end, glossy AI dream means little to those who are still living a nightmare. Let's shift our focus now from Trump to his most trusted teammate, Elon Musk. The Doge head and Tesla CEO is no stranger to controversy. Now he claims he has been receiving death threats, not just one or two, but he claims he is being flooded with them. And this is after he pushed for major cost-cutting measures in the US government. Musk is currently spearheading the Doge, or the Department of Government Efficiency, a role that has put him at the center of Trump's mission to slash federal spending. Under Musk's leadership, thousands of federal workers have been laid off, and millions are at risk of facing job uncertainty. Unsurprisingly, these sweeping cuts have sparked widespread anger. Unions have been protesting, and critics are accusing Musk of cutting essential services. Musk attended Donald Trump's first cabinet meeting recently, wearing a casual T-shirt labeled Tech Support and a Make America Great Again cap. He openly acknowledged the growing hostility toward him.
The overall goal here with the Doge team is to help address the enormous deficit. We simply cannot sustain as a country $2 trillion deficits. The interest rates, just the interest on the national debt, now exceeds the Defense Department spending. We spend a lot on the Defense Department, but we're spending like over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt. It's not an optional thing, it is an essential thing. That's the reason I'm here. And taking a lot of flack, and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. I mean, I like to stack them up, you know. But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done.
But behind the scenes, the threats seem to be taken more seriously. He might play it cool, but these episodes have forced him to increase his security. Musk reportedly travels with an elite security team of up to 20 personnel. These include armed guards and even a dedicated medical expert. In recent months, Musk has been dealing with a rising number of stalkers, online threats, and now direct assassination warnings. One of those came from a 28-year-old man from the US state of Indiana. He took to X and detailed ways of harming the tech billionaire. His threats were graphic enough to draw attention of law enforcement officials. He was charged with intimidation. And US authorities even seized firearms from his residency. They found a semi-automatic rifle, a handgun, and even a ballistic vest. Musk's reckless behavior and his rise from being an eccentric CEO of Tesla to a central figure in US politics has not gone down too well. Trump is fully backing his moves, though.
Elon is here to give you a summary of what's happening, some of the things they found, some of the horrible things they found, some of the theft and fraud, and we call it waste and abuse, but a lot of fraud, and probably some fraud that we're not going to be able to prove is fraud, but when you hear the names and the places where this money's going, it's a disgrace.
The US president says the aggressive cuts are essential for the US economy. In the cabinet meeting, Musk sat front and center with his growing list of enemies and a security team that looks straight out of a spy movie. One thing is clear, Elon Musk is playing a dangerous game. They say with great power comes great responsibility. For Musk, it is no different, except his power comes with great risks too. And at the United Nations, India launched a fierce attack on Pakistan, calling it a failed state that survives on international handouts. The scathing response came as New Delhi exposed Islamabad's repeated and baseless lies peddled on the Indian Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Exercising its right to reply in response to Pakistan's erroneous comments, India said that the region now stands as a testament of peace, progress, and all-round development. The Indian diplomat added that Pakistan's so-called leaders continue to dutifully spread falsehoods handed down by its military terrorist complex. New Delhi's representative added that Islamabad was abusing international diplomacy and multilateral forums as a mere tool to further its terror-laden agenda directed against India. The Indian representative showed Pakistan a mirror on human rights and said, given its own shameful record of minority persecution, Pakistan has no standing to lecture others on human rights.
India is exercising its right of reply in response to the baseless and malicious references made by Pakistan. It is regrettable, yet unsurprising, to see Pakistan's so-called leaders and delegates continuing to dutifully spread falsehoods handed down by its military terrorist complex. Pakistan is even making a mockery of the OIC by abusing it as its mouthpiece, which is fooling nobody. We do not wish to dignify such propaganda, but are constrained to make a few simple points for the record. First, the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh were, are, and will always remain an integral and inalienable part of India. Second, the unprecedented political, social, and economic progress in Jammu and Kashmir in the past few years speaks for itself. These successes are a testament to the people's trust in the government's commitment to bring normalcy to a region scarred by decades of Pakistan-sponsored cross-border terrorism. Third, as a country where human rights abuses, persecution of minorities, and systematic erosion of democratic values constitute state policies, and which brazenly harbors UN-sanctioned terrorists, Pakistan is in no position to lecture anyone.
The Indian representative suggested that Pakistan could do well for its people if, instead of exporting terror, it learns from New Delhi's focus on democracy and progress for its own people.
Instead of its unhealthy obsession with India, Pakistan should focus on providing actual governance and justice to its own people. Mr. President, it is unfortunate that this Council's time continues to be wasted by a failed state, which thrives on instability and survives on international handouts. Its rhetoric reeks of hypocrisy, its actions of inhumanity, and its governance of incompetence. India remains focused on democracy, progress, and ensuring dignity for its people, values that Pakistan would do well to learn from.
Pakistan's diplomatic wrecking by India is only the latest in a series of similar embarrassments delivered by New Delhi to its terror-exporting neighbor. Last week, India's permanent representative to the United Nations called out Pakistan's claims of fighting terror in South Asia. India said that it's supremely ironic that global epicenter of terrorism claims to be at the forefront of fighting against it.
Pakistan is a global epicenter of terrorism, harboring more than 20 UN-listed terrorist entities and providing state support to cross-border terrorism. Hence, it is a supreme irony when Pakistan pats itself on the back as being at the forefront of the fight against terrorism. India has been a victim of the acts of terror perpetrated by this country through terror groups such as Jaish-e-Mohammed and Harkatul Mujahideen, among dozens of others.
The continued diplomatic drubbing handed out by India to Pakistan, especially on cross-border terrorism, has exposed Islamabad's double standards on fighting terror. New Delhi's message is loud and clear. With India's combative diplomacy taking center stage at the UN, Islamabad can no longer dodge the questions of terror by playing victim and sponsoring terrorism at the same time. And our final story focuses on the escalating standoff in the South China Sea between China and the Philippines. Intensifying the rivalry, China is set to put the Philippines on hypersonic nuke alert. How? with its new attack submarine. This highly advanced submarine is under construction at a shipyard in Wuhan. Beijing has engineered the submarine to carry hypersonic missiles with the capability to be armed with nuclear warheads if required. Now, this latest naval addition is designed to stay submerged far longer than traditional diesel-electric submarines, allowing it to operate at extended ranges without surfacing. It is also designed to have a crucial edge in long-distance underwater operations. Which brings us to the next key question. Why? Why has China put an island nation over 10 times smaller than its size on hypersonic nuke alert? This is because of the deployment of a US Typhon missile system in the Philippines. Now, Washington and Manila see this deployment as a strategic countermeasure to deter Beijing's increasing aggression in the South China Sea. The advanced US missile system remains stationed in the Luzon region of the Philippines, with its ability to fire long-range, multi-purpose missiles capable of striking targets thousands of kilometers away. The system gives Washington and Manila a critical military leverage over China. In effect, the missiles from Typhon can reach deep into Chinese territory from Luzon. The presence of the US Typhon system in the Philippines has been interpreted as a direct deterrent to China's expansionist ambitions in the South China Sea. With this new submarine, China could reinforce its strategic posturing along the first island chain, a critical geopolitical zone between Japan and the Philippines and Malaysia. Now, this region has already witnessed multiple Chinese incursions into the neighboring waters, moves that have drawn sharp criticism from international powers. With China developing its advanced attack submarine and Manila keeping up with the deployment of the US Typhon missile system, the tensions in the region have ratcheted up further. China has repeatedly called for the removal of these US missiles, claiming they escalate regional instability. However, the Philippines government remains firm. Manila has said that the US missile system will only leave the region once China ceases its intrusions into the Filipino territorial waters. But Beijing's push for this new submarine, seemingly designed to counter the Typhon missiles, suggests a different strategy, a strategy that prioritizes confrontation over de-escalation. With both sides increasingly digging in, the South China Sea remains a volatile flashpoint in an ever-intensifying power struggle. And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you.